Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are still building up our economy as Japan and potentially looking for new targets of conquest. It's a new session, so I'm just checking out. Yes, our reputation is good to go. And we have a lot of places we could grab hold of. Down here. You notice that Sulu has got its color situation sorted out. But I think I might go for the mainland. I might just go ahead and do that and see if I might get myself a little bit more ambitious here. Johore actually has a pretty good army, but it's a very small army, so I am hoping that that we'll be able to get started with them. They don't currently have any allies or anything like that, so I think we're just going to go ahead and... A lot of people might step in here, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let's get going here. And I am not going to currently begin any amount of conscription because I don't think anyone is going to intervene in this situation. I think this is just going to be diplomatically just fine. This is going to cost us a little cash for a while. But again, like, this line item continues to be very small because all of these countries that we're taking over have really small economies. But as we get going, it's going to be something very powerful to have these countries that are contributing to our economy and living just sort of in our market. Speaking of which, let's get this thing aligned properly. We still need to get our lead sector built up. We do have some of that in progress here, so I'm not too concerned about that. Also going to need more engines. We have more motor industries built up. We have some in the private sector queue. So those will be ready in 18 weeks. Very good. I'm not going to currently do any additional work with this. Just kind of hope that got a couple of countries we could potentially sway. We could sway France or Russia in. Russia wants an obligation. France wants an obligation, but I guess we can't sway them in for one reason or another. But again, I don't feel the need at this point. I think we can get this war done all on our own without getting any help. And we can continue to build up some kind of sphere of prosperity in Asia. You know the one. Some sort of sphere of influence for ensuring, collective prosperity in Asia. That should be good. It's looking like none of my vassals are mobilizing their forces. That's completely fine. At the moment, they can just get themselves ready to go. I don't think Johore is going to navally invade any of them. And we'll just continue to build up our little empire here. There's mass communication unlocked. That's good. That's going to give us a nice chunk of additional authority. Are currently so full of consumption taxes, and psychiatry has started to spread to us. This is all of the countries that are involved declaring neutrality now that the countdown to war has begun. It's good to be an upstart power. We're going to be there for a long time. We're continuing to get these gold mines built up, and then we'll get working on lead mines. Gold, of course, as you know, is very important for keeping our economy solid. Like, just keeping ourselves in the black here is going to be just an enormous part of making sure that this stuff goes the way it's supposed to go. Let's get Tori. I think Tori is my guy who's good at this. Well, he's innovative. Produce more outlaws. That's pretty good. So that's going to be a nice little naval invasion. That pop-up, by the way, was the war popping off, which you might have already known, but I figured I would be explicit about that. I'm also, I'm also getting hungry for some territory in China, so I think I'm going to go ahead and declare an interest in South China. I know historically Japan conquered Formosa as this, is the geographic name for this island, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's right. Same way where a lot of islands that are their own nation have a geographic name in addition to the national name, the cultural name. There's a name for the island itself. A little exile from British Raj. He's a protectionist. Interest group is the armed forces. I know it says the samurai for me because my armed forces are the samurai. Anyway, the reason that I'm declaring an interest in China is because I've noticed that China's military is still pretty weak, although there are a lot of them. I could still potentially get a lot of mileage out of, say, just grabbing Formosa once my interest there is fully established. There we go. So how much would it be? Well, I can't look at it right now because I'm already in a war. Here's the naval invasion. And we are winning slightly. This is very good. If we're able to get in there again later, well, yeah, we're winning now. We outnumber them largely, but we do have some penalties. Battle casualties, disadvantage, difficult landing. Yeah, we're having a difficult landing right now. Oh, interesting. Morale recovery minus 25% due to Imperius. Still, we are winning markedly now. Their defense has gone down a little bit since they're suffering from... I guess that doesn't cause a reduction in stats of that kind. So yeah, anyway, we're getting that knocked right out. We're also pretty close to getting religion, autocracy, nationality completed, and that should give us a nice little bonus here. Just taking a look at honorable restoration. Again, this isn't necessarily something we're going for, but it is something we could complete as things get on. That's right, Central Archives. It's going to be a big struggle once Central Archives is fully researched to get our tax base properly set up. But that is what it is. And have we conquered all of Johore? No, not yet. Interesting. There is still a front, but the rest of this war should go very fast because, number one, Johore is partially occupied now. So we're losing war support at 0.42 per week. They're losing it at 3.55 per week due to the amount of their country we have occupied. And now that we're on a land front with them, we're much closer to parity in terms of overall troop strength, our attack compared to their defense. And because our army is much larger, we're going to be winning for sure. Didn't even need to run conscriptions. That's delightful. Go ahead and let that be. So how long? We have about 2 years for Central Archives. We're working on some lead mines, some more munitions plants, some universities. So let's go ahead and get started on building the government sectors that we'll need to actually deal with our shortage of taxation capacity. Right now, I'm just going to queue up one government sector in each of these places. And this is where? This is everywhere except Shikoku, it looks like. Yeah, interesting. Well, it's Shikoku and Hokkaido. Hokkaido is very low population because we haven't fully colonized the country yet. So that should be fine. Let's go ahead and put those in the queue. We have sufficient infrastructure to do all of this with no problem. Although, honestly, we may need more. Have we gotten this second? Yes. Okay, so we have gotten our second round of motor industries built. That means we're producing plenty of engines for continuing to expand our railways. We've now got Johore fully occupied. So we should be more than able to win this war based on that alone. Cool. Alright, so I don't need to worry about that anymore. So, let's take a quick look here at what it's going to take for me to conquer Formosa. Gotta find Formosa. I have no idea what order these states are listed in, so this is just going to be a blur, potentially, for you. Depending on how good your eyesight is, until you hit Formosa. Here we go. So to conquer Formosa, oh my goodness, that's 30 infamy. Oh, that's going to be a real problem. Nope, can't afford to do that. I don't have, I guess I don't have conquering Formosa money. Wonderful. And now Johore is my vassal as well. Is Perak my vassal? No, they're just a similar color to me. But not that close. This is good. As you can see here, we have another increase in the diplomatic pact's line entry for our country. We'll go ahead and start improving relations with them. Again, I'm going to be improving relations with basically every country that we conquer because I want them to stay in my faction. I am not in a position currently to be annexing my my vassals and or puppets. I was thinking about hitting Cambodia, but I'm still enjoying the overall project of getting more and more of East Asia under control of Japan. So I think I'm going to continue with that. So who do we want to hit next? In terms of economies, Lanfang is a strong candidate, but they're a tributary of China. I might be able to grab Lanfang. What about you, Selangor? Oh, Selangor. No, because Selangor is a dominion of France. Perak. Okay. I know I've done this a bunch of times, but it's important to keep your information up to date. And Maguindan Dao, you're in a defensive pact with the Dutch East Indies. That's why I'm not going after you. What about you? Oh, that's Portugal. I could try it. You got defensive pacts with Transvaal and Zulu. Neither of them is going to be of any use to me. But they are in Europe, so not gonna try to make that happen. Bali. Ooh. Bali is an interesting target. So, just slow down here while I take a look. Large economy, large population. So, show me Bali the state. Do you have a proper army? Not really. Not a great one. But it is still one that I might have a hard time navally invading because of my relatively small troop counts. And I would have to naval invade it because of this whole situation. So, it is not an appropriate target. Alright. We'll go ahead with one of these other ones then. Let's go with Sintang. Before we do that, make sure that we've got... Infamy's not quite down yet. I virtually always make a practice of reducing my infamy to 0 after a conquest, just so that I'm never... I'm always at my... I say always. I only do this when I'm playing as a weaker kind of regional power like Japan is. But I always want to make sure that I'm getting my infamy as low as possible so that I'm never inviting retribution from a larger power, who I still can't necessarily get scrappy with immediately. Dutch East Indies' attitude towards us is still pretty good, which I'm happy about, because I don't want to go around having a fight with the Dutch East Indies, especially when I think they have a proper military, and more importantly, yeah, they do. And more importantly, I think they have a proper fleet. Well, not much of one, but still not necessarily worth going after. Answer infamy resolved. Sintang, you're coming with me. Alright, and for this war, I can just put troops on the border. And then I can get the country occupied, and that'll be just fine. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. Spain is improving relations. Wonderful. I do now have pot stills, which will allow me to produce additional liquor out of my food industries. On the other hand, groceries are very lucrative, and liquor is pretty cheap. I don't need more of that. So I'm not going to go ahead and activate that production method just yet. This is the lead mines, those are the universities. I think in the... No, I'm not going to activate more, get more paper mills. Oh, hello. Italy. Wow, you formed fast. Alright, well, that does mean we're going to have to do some actual work here. So let's get ready to do some work. I think we can do it with... I think we can do it with 100 battalions. And we'll go ahead and activate a training decree. There. Now, do I have my Armed Forces are happy bonus? I do. Very good. And Armed Forces are maximally paid to get the extra morale recovery. That's very good. We're going to go ahead and put one more general over here. Because I could get naval invaded in this situation, but I'm not necessarily concerned about a... wow, Italy formed really early. Italy typically takes a lot longer to form than that. Dutch East Indies? What is all this? What is all this? Well, I'm going to try to transfer subject. Who could I... Oh my goodness. Hold up. What's going on with this? Dutch East Indies, are you... You are still a dominion of the Netherlands. So if I put you on the other side of a war with the Netherlands... That would be bananas. Okay, so who's around here that I could potentially target? How many more maneuvers do you have? How many more maneuvers does Sintang have? 10. Okay, so they're not going to be able to do anything. I'm going to wait a little bit and see if any of them just abandon, because the AI is very likely to do that kind of thing. Oh my god, please don't tell me all of my troops are going into this army that has... into this general I don't have on the front. Okay. Yep, okay, that seems like what's happening. So, we're going to put him on this front. We're going to grab you. That's Yozo Tori. You're going to go back to Hidetatsu Agawa, you're going to go back to standing by in Japan. And I'm going to have to activate some conscripts in one of these other locations in order to properly make sure that my But the home islands are activated, which is going to cost me a lot of money, which is a shame, but it is what it is. So I still have a sway available for the Netherlands. These two could still abandon, but usually when the AI is going to abandon, they abandon immediately. So, let's go ahead and do it. Who do we want to transfer? We want Sakarta, Tidor, or Pontianak. Pontianak is the only one on this island, so we'll go ahead and do that. And we will go ahead and activate enlistment efforts in the other two places we activated. Conscripts, yep, those are the ones. Okay, so I'm hoping that with the actual Netherlands on our side, that means that the Dutch, the Dutch East Indies will bow out. I'm hoping that's the case. It's going to take me forever to get all these battalions that I'm raising. Okay, so now the size of this army is going up. So we'll keep on the defensive here until we are properly winning. As you can see, we've already gone into the red, but we're working on getting the material basis of our army ready to go. We've actually... I need to build more arms industry in order to make this happen. Excellent. Whew! That could have been a real problem. Alright, so Sintang has backed down, yielding us the primary war goal. We're going to go ahead and start improving relations with them. And that, my friends, is a couple of very successful diplomatic plays. High fives all around. Let's see how the market's doing. Still need more sources of explosives. Because these chemical plants are not producing many explosives. That's curious. Wonder if they're... Yeah, they're only partially employed on account of the high price of iron. Alright, so iron's going to be something we're going to need to build up the capacity to produce. None of these states have a huge amount of infrastructure available, but Tohoku has the highest. So I'm going to queue in 4 rounds of iron mines, and we're going to get them ahead of the government admins because we need them in a more kind of urgent way. Interesting. Dutch East Indies stop damaging relations. So, I believe if a situation occurs where a puppet or dominion is on the opposite side of a war with their master, they just become free, which is, overlord. Overlord is the term. I believe they just become free, which is wild. But I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Interestingly, I could put the industrialists into the government and have it be moderately strong, but the main reason that would work is because they're both pacifists. And I'm not going to risk getting the Buddhist monks angry at the government. And as soon as we get Central Archives, going to Secret Police will become viable. But it's not viable yet. Alright. However, that was kind of a scare, so I'm gonna keep my infamy going down. So what do I need in order to continue building up the construction sector? I need wood, and I need iron. I'm building up iron already, and will continue to do so. Let's get some more iron mines built in Kanto, and then that's going to set us up with a shortage of infrastructure. So, we'll go ahead and... Gosh, we're short on infrastructure in all these locations. Heck. Alright, well, time for another round of railways, I guess. Gorsh, Shaggy. So I'm going to put the government admin at the bottom. And I'm going to put the iron mines below the railways. And that's going to hopefully give me the capability to improve the construction sector even further. I think I actually am going to queue in a couple more levels of construction sectors in Shikoku here. I'm just going to put them there because that's where I've got infrastructure available. And we're going to put them in front of the railways. And that's going to mean they'll go into effect as soon as these iron mines are built. Because it's good to have a surplus from a government perspective, but it's not, as you've seen from the France playthrough, it doesn't provide a huge bonus. Although one thing I will do is I think I'm going to go back to... Oh, man. This is reducing my prestige, so I think I'm going to go back to having full government wages. And that's going to be very good for me. Well, is that really going to put me anywhere? Really, it will put me above Spain, but it doesn't change my rank because I think the only other unrecognized power at this point is the Ottoman Empire. Wait, you're unrecognized in 6... Right, because it's 56 that Ottoman Empire becomes unrecognized. That's wild. We're almost higher ranking than the Ottoman Empire. We could get there. Gosh. And then our next target's really Great Qing. And that'll be just a lovely situation. Because if we can get past Great Qing, we can go all over the place. That'll be a really large prestige bump. Continuing to build up dye plantations, that is useful for us. Are these gold mines employed yet? Not really. Couldn't afford to hire capitalists. Interesting. No one wants to be a capitalist in Hokkaido. Do we have universities here? I don't. But I don't have any labor available, and that's going to just sort of continue to be the case. And the fact is, I'm not going to be able to generate any migration attraction that matters to increase the population here because there's no migration in my market on account of my isolationism. So, could go to a charity hospital health system. The industrialists would dislike this. Let me see. But I don't necessarily want to increase population growth everywhere, which is what would happen with that, because my population's already pretty high, and I don't want to... I don't want to be in a situation where I have ticking radicalism because the growth of my population is outpacing my capacity to provide welfare and other things to the people. So that's why I'm not necessarily keen on increasing population growth right away. I think we're at a pretty okay spot with our laws. I'm still torn about national militia. I kind of would like to have a professional army, but it's not going to happen for the moment. Some people want a theocracy, but not anywhere near everybody. Let's go ahead and turn off these enlistment efforts. I don't need them, because we're not in a war. Keeping going with our improving relations with all of our friends down here. Anyway, that is all we've got time for tonight, or for this episode at least. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I'll see you all on the other side.